Now, ladies and gentlemen, the issue of finance bill year 2025 is one issue that has remained the topic of discussion and a bone of contention within the circles of power and more so within the circles of opposition in the country. Allow me to diverge deep into this story that has currently been making headlines all over the country. Now, the budget of the year 2025 has seen a lot of significant changes. And as we are being told, the budget of the year 2025 is the real deal. I mean, the budget that we opposed in the year 2024 was just a mere joke compared to to the added taxes that Kenyans are going to face in the upcoming budget year 2025. According to the latest report, the State House and the State Department for Social Protection had exhausted or nearly depleted their allocations for salaries and other recurrent expenses by the end of April this year, prompting the National Treasury to prepare that supplementary budget for the 2024-2025 financial year, unprecedented move since the onset of the COVID-19 crisis. Treasury records show that the Department of Social Protection had already spent 35.7 billion against its 33.3 billion, an excess of 2.2 billion Kenyan shillings. While the State House had used up to 98% of its 7.96 billion allocation, this trend reflects growing strain on recurrent expenditure, with Treasury officials attributing the overspending to missed revenue targets following the withdrawal of the Finance Bill year 2024 and sluggish economy performance. The tax revenue collected between July and April stood at 1.8 trillion, falling short of the revised 2.4 trillion target, further complicating budgetary planning. As a result, the VAT mini budget expected in June will likely increase allocations for entities like State House and Social Protection, even as concerns mount over the crowding out of development spending by a ballooning public wage bill. Now, let me ask you the question: how on earth does the State House allocate itself that 3.3 billion, and they find themselves that they have used over that amount of money in an excess of about 2.2 billion? You know, the amount of money that is being spent at the State Department and also the State House, you wonder what they're using this money for. I think it's high time that the Treasury stops this nonsense of turning back to Kenyans and digging deep into the pockets of Kenyans who are suffering due to the heavy burden of taxes that they pay every minute in this republic. And they turn back to tell those that are at the State House and those that are at the State Department, it's high time that you people cut down your budget. Because tell me why the State House has been allocated a traveling budget over 2 billion Kenyan shillings every year. I mean, billions of money for traveling. Where are they traveling? Are they traveling to the moon? Are they traveling to the sun? It's high time. You remember yesterday we received the news from the UN that Kenya spends over 2 billion in matters transport, matters money used for visiting different countries all over the world, more than the United Nations itself. You ask yourself, the United Nations is a worldwide organization that has to tap into every country all over the world, and yet it has a traveling budget that is minimal compared to that of Kenya. What is the work of our president? Is he a tour guide? You wonder, and you ask yourself this question. Now you hear these people had the first budget. That budget was depleted. They exhausted the budget. In 3 months, they had to come to the treasury again so that the treasury could do for them a supplementary budget for the second time. Now the third time, they are expected now to receive a third mini supplementary budget. What total nonsense and crap is this? Where are we heading as a country? Mnajua hamna pesa, mlitumia ile ingine ikaisha ndio mkaongezewa, alafu bado mnaendelea kutumia hiyo ikaisha, mnataka muongezewe tena. Hii ni pale tunasema wanatuonanga kaa hizo vitu zao. It's high time they learn that this country needs more of patriots than people that are set to deplete the economy of the Republic of Kenya. Nasikia the 2025 finance bill is an hanging line that every Kenyan anawekwa kwa shingo. This budget is worse compared to the 2024 financial budget. Now listen what Kenyans are saying in regards to this. I see one Brian saying we can't keep increasing recurrent spending while neglecting development. That's how our economy stall. This circle will keep repeating and the average Kenyan will pay the price through higher taxes, delayed services or inflation. And I really agree with this statement. It's high time that William Ruto learns on how to cut on the recurrent expenditures. I mean, why should we spend money on transport? Sijui revenue has been allocated for the renovation of the state house. I mean an amount of 2 to 3 billion for renovation. Yet the budget that we need to supplement our education so that our kids will not miss doing their exams because they don't have money to pay for those exams can be paid. It's only 2 billion money allocated to the state house for renovation. Unashindwa, kwani Uhuru alikuwa anaishi kwa kichaka? Kwani Uhuru aliacha amevunjavunja vitanda zote state house? Vikombe ziliachwa zimevunjavunjwa. I mean, if somebody was to be the most spendthrift president, who should have been President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta in Mata State House. Maana Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta tunamjua alipenda, he loved his drinks, he loved his wine, he loved his cigars. So those would have costed him a fortune, akijaribu kuleta marafiki kule State House waenjoy na yeye. But he never did that. His budget was so minimal. It was even a third of this budget that President William Ruto is allocating himself. Tuko pamoja. Na huyu ni mtu ambaye si mlevi, huyu ni kasisi, ndugu ya Yesu, kijana last born wa mother wa Maria Magdalene. Bwana, what is wrong with this republic? What is wrong with our nation? I have read the terms in regards to this mini supplementary budget and I feel like my head is exploding because I can't take it anymore. In a country that we are borrowing day in, day out so that we can supplement our economy. The money is supposed to be channeled into development, but it's channeled to the coffee ya president, to the coffee ya chief of staff. Bwana, unasikia wanakunywa chai ya shilingi bilioni 1 kila mwaka. Kwani wanakunywa chai gani hii? Majani inatoka binguni ama maziwa inakamuliwa kwa punda ile ilibeba Yesu? Stop taking us for granted, for crying out loud. It's high time these people sit down and decides to run the country and not to run their stomachs and their pockets. For now, that's what's up. Leave your comment in the comment section. This is the Kenyan Daily Report. What is your take?